have completed the first lesson, children, and from the first unit, this is the B reading, My Mother. My Mother. So, this poem, it's a nostalgic poem being written by Tagore. So, Tagore's mother passed away while he was very young, and therefore in this poem he is expressing his inability in order to recall his mother's face. So it's called as nostalgic. Nostalgic means the feelings of a person. So here the feelings of the poets while he has gone for losing his mother while he was young. So before going to the poem, let us go through the poet. Rabindranath Tagore, 1861 to 1941. That is the date of birth and the date of the death. He is popularly known as Vishwakavi and Gurudev. So Rabindranath Tagore is known as the Vishwakavi and Gurudev. He was the founder of Shantiniketan, an experimental school. Then he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature for his Gitanjali, that is the Song of Offerings. Each of his poems reflects Indian vision and love towards his motherland. He is considered the voice of Indian heritage. Heritage means the inheritance, is called as the heritage. And spiritualism, a system of belief or religious practice, is called as the spiritualism. So this is all about the poet. Now, let us go to the poem. My Mother. My Mother. I cannot remember my mother. Only sometime in the midst of my playing, a tune seems to hover over my playthings. The tune of some song that she used to hum while rocking my cradle. So what is he expressing in these lines that which occur in the first stanza of the poem? Let us see. I cannot remember my mother. The beginning of the line itself in this stanza is saying that he can't remember his mother. He is not at all remembering his mother. Only sometime in the midst of my play. Only sometimes in the midst of my play. Midst means middle. It's called as the midst. Only sometime in the midst of my play, a tune seems to hover over my playthings. Hover. Remain in the air is called as the hover. When this tune seems to hover, while he is in the midst of his play, he is playing with the playthings. So in the middle of the play, he is just listening, as though he is listening some song, some tune. What is that? The tune of some song that she used to hum while rocking my cradle. The tune of some song that she used to. She is the mother of the poet. So tune, she used to hum, making the tune by closing the mouth, that is called as the humming. Understood? Hum while rocking my cradle. While he was a child, she used to go for rocking. Rocking means making the movement of the cradle to and fro is called as the rocking. Understood, children? So while she was making him to sleep in the cradle, she used to go for humming the song. So that song, now he is hearing it. So what is the first stanza? So this poet is stating that he cannot remember his mother. Beginning line itself states that I cannot remember my mother. Then, however, he feels the presence pervading into his life when he is in the middle of the play with his playthings. While he is playing with his playthings, he just feels the presence of his mother as though he senses the tune hovering over him. It is the tune of his mother only, which she used to go for humming while rocking his cradle. Yes, this is about the first stanza. Now next. I cannot remember my mother, but when in the early autumn morning, the smell of the shiuli flowers floats in the air. Again, the second stanza begins with, I cannot remember my mother. The poet is stating that he cannot remember his mother. But when in the early autumn morning, the smell of the shiuli flowers floats in the air. The smell of the shiuli flowers is floating in the air. The smell is being floating in the air. What smell? The shiuli flowers smell. Shiuli meaning even that. Small white or orange flowers that bloom in the autumn season is called as the shiuli. The scent of the morning service in the temple comes to me as the scent of my mother. Scent. Scent is the smell. Smell of what? Smell of the offerings of the flowers to God, or smell of the agabatis that which are being lighted up in the temple. They are all called as the scent here. Smells, the scent of the morning service in the temple. In that smell, he senses that is the smell of his mother. So he might be imagining while he was small that his mother might be going for the temple and she worshipping with the shiuli flowers, and that smell has been that means it is just existing in his presence of his life, which he remembers that the same smell which comes from the worship at the temple makes him to go for sensing the smell of his mother. So this is about the second stanza. Now the next one, that is the third stanza. I cannot remember my mother, again begins with the same line, the poet stating that he can't remember his mother. Only when from my bedroom window I send my eyes into the blue of the distant sky, while he is in his bedroom, opening up the window and having a look at the blue sky makes him suddenly to remember his mother. So how does he feel the presence of his mother while he is gazing through the window at the sky? Let us see. I feel that the stillness of my mother's gaze on my face has spread all over the sky. That her face, the mother's face. He feels that as though the mother's face has been spread all over the sky. And she is gazing from the sky towards him. So where is this presence happening? It is happening while he is having a glimpse or a view through the window of his bedroom, that is looking into the blue sky, makes him to imagine that the mother's face has totally covered over the blue sky and she is having a gaze of look towards him. So here the different positions of the poet in the different stanzas, he has the presence of his mother. In the different feelings, he has the glimpse of his mother. In the different smells or the scents, has the feeling of his mother. In the different tunes, he has the presence of his mother. So the three different stanzas are describing about the poet who remembers his mother. Understood, children? So this is the poem. This is the poem. So here the persons who are involved in this poem, that is the poet and his mother, being expressed in the different stanzas in the different manner. So what is the first stanza expressing, what is the second stanza expressing, what is the third one? So we all know that, is it? So the child feeling the presence of his mother while playing. The child feels the presence of his mother while smelling in the temple for the worship that which goes on over there. The child feeling the presence of his mother, having a view through the window, that's the glimpse of his mother's face covered over the sky. And she is gazing from that her son. So this is all about the poem, children. Open the textbook, listen to the video, audio and video. Then afterwards, go through it once again. Read the poem thoroughly. Understood, children?